later in the year. So, so when the family's on the move, Dad goes first. So you usually see him go first, whether it's across the street or out into the open or, out from under the bush. It's Dad that goes first. So it's Dad that's going to take the risk. So if nothing happens to Dad, then it's the babies that will follow really close, and then Mom takes up the rear. But there's a reason Mom takes up the rear. The male does not shy away from being a single father. If something happens to his mate, he will continue to care for his chicks into adulthood. And they will stay with Dad until they choose to start their own cubby. What happens, Mom takes up the rear, well, obviously, because she's the other adult. That makes sense. But Mom has a wayward eye. So Mom tends to wander, which means she goes off and she'll start a new family with another male. But that doesn't sway quail dads. They will take on the responsibility all on their own. As a matter of fact, if there are wayward chicks that got lost along the way, like when you see them cross paths or whatever, and a chick goes that way, he's cool. If he started out with 10 and all of a sudden he's got 15, he's okay. That's just the way he rolls. So they do a pretty amazing job out there. All right, so now we're going to go and talk about the Gila woodpecker, who is our very own house designer. So the Gila woodpecker cavity is called the boot. And does anyone know why it's called the boot? Okay. Yes. So at 19 to 25 feet above the ground in low areas such as a hill, saguaros, oaks, palo verde, mesquite, and in urban areas they'll use palm trees. What they do is he drills the hole. He drills it, He drills it 6 inches wide and 11 inches down. And what he does is like a candy cane. So when your saguaro cactus breaks down, when it dies and it breaks down, you actually will see the boot in there. It will fall and it will be laying out there for everyone to see. Of course, you can't collect them. That's illegal. But you can at least look at it and inspect it. And he will make his nest, and he has to wait for it to cure. So he has to wait, it's about 6 weeks. And in that 6 weeks' time, while it's hardening, because it's a cactus, so it's moist in there, he wants it to dry, he has to protect it. And that's where he runs into issues. So the entrance is an oval-shaped hole, about 2 inches in diameter, and this totally fascinates me. So how does he know it's an oval? How does he know how to make an oval? I mean, really, if you think about it, he's just making a hole, but it's oval shaped. It just is. So he's making a hole that fits him and his chicks and his mate. Will nest once in the cavity, once it is cured and dried, and the male will defend his cavity nest from European starlings. He does not always win. The male may be forced to give up his home, or he dies trying to protect it. And that is the problem the Gila woodpecker has right now, is the European starling, because they will take over their nests, and he either dies or he has to give up. Now, if he gives up his nest, what he's made, he has to go build another one. Okay, so let's say it took him, 3 to 4 weeks to build it, then he had to wait, 4 to 6 weeks for it to dry, so he's already 2 months behind. So he could choose to start over, or he could choose not to start the pair, and they won't mate. So.
No question. All right. So the other day we just joined this club, and so they gave us that free, thing over there. And so it's only been, I guess it was 2 days ago, right? And so this morning we looked, and there's a perfect oval in that. And he's over there doing the oval in that log thing there.
Well, that's pretty cool.
It was so funny. It's like the perfect oval. Oh my goodness. And he goes over there and he just makes it. So I don't know if it's
Maybe he's practicing.
I don't know. That launching mirror, you see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's practicing.
Oh my God, he loves it.
Or maybe he's going to eat all the way through and then, you know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what he's going to do. So I had a Gila woodpecker. I thought he was messing with my hummingbird feeder. I looked out, this was earlier in the year, I looked out and I go, what is that on my hummingbird feeder? It was a Gila woodpecker. But he was hanging around the patio post, and I went out there. I said, oh, if he's making a hole, I'm going to be in real trouble. So I went out there and he was making a hole. And it was like symmetrically, it was an oval-shaped hole. It was 2 inches in diameter. And it was right next to another weep hole, so it wasn't actually in the house, it was in the patio post. But there were termites in that post, so if he hadn't have done that, I go, why is he doing that? Well, my first thought was, well, he's not being obnoxious, he's looking for bugs. That was my first thought. So and there were termites in there, and he could hear the termites, and sure enough, the termites were right about where he was making his. He can hear. So when you watch them peck, they peck, and then they do this. All woodpeckers do. They're listening, and then they're going to go again, and then they're listening. They're listening to where the bug is so that they can, be more efficient at getting it. They're really cool birds.
I didn't know they could hear.
Yeah. Well, they can hear.
I meant you knowing me.
Yeah. Well, over the noise they make too. Yeah. Well, that's probably why they stop. Maybe they can't hear over their own noise. And the reason they tap, here's something cool. The reason they tap on the vents on the roof is territorial. So they are letting other male Gila woodpeckers know that this is their space, and they are here, and they are going to defend it. So stay out of their spot. So I think that's cool. I got one that taps on my roof and then taps on my window if I'm late with the orange. Yeah, they're bossy too.
Bossy.
All right, so that's not all of them. Besides his home design, the males tend to the female while she incubates the eggs because she does the incubating. And if we thought we had invented Uber Eats, we were wrong. Birds thought of it long before we humans ever did. He helps feed and tend to the nestlings. And once the baby woodpeckers have fledged, it's the dad that will teach the youngsters how to find food and how to catch it. So he will introduce his kids to what they need to eat by taking them to his favorite hunting places. That could be your suet feeder.
Yeah.
That could be your cylinder feeder. That could be, what, if you're feeding them what you have provided for them, he will take his kids there and he will show them what to eat. Otherwise, he takes...
Showed how to get into the fruit feeder, like actually use himself as an example of how to get in there and land.
Yeah.
And then have the little baby do the same as like an imitation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because birds learn a lot by observation. So he will take them, if they're hunting grasshoppers, he wants to teach them how to do that. He'll teach them to where he finds grasshoppers or insects. He'll catch an insect, and they'll want it. And he'll say no, and he'll eat it in front of them. And then he'll just make noise and point down to where he wants them to go, and eventually they catch on. It's trying to get a kid to get a job. But, but they do it. All right. So another cool dad is a mourning dove, actually. They're seasonally monogamous, so other doves aren't, but other doves are monogamous all the time, like they're bonded pairs, but mourning doves are seasonally. The male brings nesting material to the female, and both parents incubate the eggs, equally dividing up the time. Again, equally dividing up the time. And they do it not in 12-hour shifts, but they do it in 4-hour shifts. So that it's equally divided. So one doesn't always get the night shift. 2 weeks of incubation, and then both chicks hatch. Both parents feed babies crop milk. So it's a nutrient-rich substance that comes from the dove's throat pouch, and it's called a crop. The so-called milk is secreted by cells in the crop and then regurgitated into a tasty meal for baby doves. They have to grow fast. They need it protein-rich, and doves, penguins, and flamingos are the only birds that do that. The other bird that, I already told you that. It takes both the male and the female to successfully raise 2 doves. So if right now it's nesting season, if one parent is lost, that nest has failed because one parent cannot feed both those babies. All right. So, dads provide protection, dads provide food, dads provide homes, dads provide tools. So the white-breasted nuthatch will use certain types of stinky beetles by crushing the bug and spreading it around his nest to ward off and deter squirrels and other birds. I thought that was pretty cool. Didn't know that about the white-breasted nuthatch. And the brown-headed nuthatch will use a piece of bark they have peeled off a tree, and then they use it to push back larger pieces of bark to look for bigger bugs.
Wow.
That is pretty cool. All right, so that's Arizona. So now we're going to go to South America, because remember I promised you a global trip. We're going to talk about the rat-type family. So the rat-type family are our largest flightless birds. The rheas in South America, the ostrich in Africa, the cassowary in Australia, New Guinea, the emu in Australia. And we are going to be talking about these birds today because raising young is essentially a male's responsibility. The females do very little. So first, the rheas range map so you can see where they are. I really don't know what the colors mean. It's the most social of our rat types and the smallest of the rat type family, but the largest bird in South America. And most of the time these birds are found in loose groups of males and females. So not really harems, but close. During breeding season, the males will make a nest, which is basically just a circle of rocks, on the ground. And we never give them credit for really decorating, but he does move rocks around in a circle. And he mates with several females. And then he politely ushers them over to his circle of rocks. And he invites them to lay the eggs, the fertilized eggs, in his circle. And then she leaves. She's done. She goes off and she's going to, mate with another male bird, and she's going to lay her eggs in his circle of rocks. And so they raise collectively several females' babies. But it helps with bird diversity. So they wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't successful. So it works for them. Once he's invited them over, and where the female will deposit her fertilized eggs, when the nest gets 30 eggs, the male will chase all the females away. So just kind of like the female hummingbird, I'm done now. I don't want you in my space. He doesn't want any of the females in his space. And he begins his parenting alone. For the first few days, he won't even sit on the nest. He will watch it. He will guard it, but he won't sit on it. And that has to do with temperature regulation. So it depends how long he stays off the nest depends on the temperatures that where he is. And then once he sits on the eggs, he does not leave the nest until the chicks hatch. And once the chicks hatch, the dad will keep them safe while they forage, learning what to eat by watching dad. And he will care for them for 6 months. Now they're a smaller bird. It takes them less time to get to approximately adult height and learn everything that they need to learn. And in our travels, we're gonna learn that some dads have to parent for longer. But they're very successful. The babies are really cute. Look, they just hatched, and they're precocial, so you can see they already have legs that they can stand on and walk. They already have feathers, and they're with Dad. And they will watch Dad, and they will do everything that Dad does. All right, come on. All right. Come on. Thank you. All right, so now we're going to jump over to Africa, and we're going to talk about ostriches. And this is the range map for ostriches. It's really hard to find information on ostriches. I don't know why, but that is there. I did find out that there's 2 types of ostriches. Didn't know that. There's the Somalian ostrich, which is rare, actually, and the African ostrich, or common ostrich is what it's called. There was a 3rd ostrich, but it's extinct. That's another talk. All right, fun ostrich facts. Within a month of hatching, chicks are able to run 35 miles an hour. They got some legs. Ostriches store water in a unique pouch next to their kidneys. I thought this was really cool. Depending on where they live, I think that's something you don't really know about ostriches. Ostriches eat grass, shrubs, fruit, flowers, insects, and small reptiles. I didn't know they were omnivores. I was kind of hoping that they just ate grass. Ostriches don't need to drink water, obviously, because they probably get a lot of their liquid from their food, and then they can store it so they can draw from that pouch. Those are babies. All right, so I focused on the African ostrich because that's where I could get my information. So we're in Africa, and these are like the ones you would see on like National Geographic. So ostriches live in harems with a male and a dominant female. And the dominant female will mate with the male and lay her eggs in the center of the nest he has prepared. And again, the nest is just a hole he's dug, a slight indentation, and he has surrounded it with some grass so it has a parameter. That's the nest. All right? So very little goes into it. The male will mate with other females and then allowed by the dominant female to lay their eggs on the fringes of the male's nest. And if she doesn't like that female, she will push the egg out. Okay? But wait. Yeah, so if the female does not like a particular bird, she will push the egg out of the nest, and the male will push the egg back in the nest when the dominant female is not looking. So they have that back and forth. I thought that was cute. All right. Now the difference with this, they're different. Okay, the ostriches are slightly different from other ratites. Is the fact that the male and the dominant female and the male will switch off incubation. Okay, so that's where they differ. And the female doesn't abandon her chicks. She stays within the family group that they have, but it's the male that does a lot of the parenting. All right, so parental roles. Like I said, the male and female will share incubation duties until the eggs hatch. The male takes the night shift. I don't know why. I just wonder, maybe that's the most vulnerable shift, and he's the bigger bird and less likely to be attacked. Because you don't mess with an adult ostrich, especially a male.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but I couldn't find a true explanation. I don't know. These birds have been around for a long time. I just really don't understand why there's not more information on them that I could find. For 18 months, the chicks will follow the parents, especially Dad, learning what to eat and how to survive in the African wilds. And they follow Dad. Why? He's the bigger bird. I mean, if I wanted to survive in Africa, I'd pick the biggest bird I could find, and I'd be right there with him. With long, powerful legs and a very sharp toe, ostriches can kill a lion with a single kick. So that's why I wanted to show you this picture, because you can see the baby ostriches, how small they are relative to the dad's foot, but you can see his toe. And it's got a claw in the end, and that's why you just don't mess with them. So I've actually seen it. You know, you watch PBS Nature videos where baboons and hyenas are sneaking up on the ostrich chicks, and the dad will make a call, or he'll make that alert noise. He'll look his head up, look up, and he'll do that, and the baby ostriches will run towards Dad. Well, the minute they start running towards Dad, the predators back off because they don't want to be kicked by that ostrich. So, but unfortunately, 90% of baby ostriches don't make it to adulthood due to predation. So, yeah, they're cute. It's kind of like quail. Only 35% of quail babies make it. I know. Don't count them. Don't count them. It's like baby ducks. Don't count them. Yeah. Just enjoy them in that moment. All right. So we're going to leave Africa for a little bit, and we're going to go to Australia. And this is the range map of the emu, which is the second largest bird. So actually, ostrich is the largest land bird we have. The next is the emu. The rhea is the fourth, so it's small, so it's the smallest bird. Cassowary is the third one, and we're going to get to that. It's also the most dangerous. All right, emu, fun facts. Second largest bird in the world at 6.9 feet tall. Their feathers look more like hair. They can run 30 miles an hour, jump 7 feet high, and use their heavy feet and nails to fight. I almost feel like I'm describing Superman when I wrote that. I guess I could be. They're a super bird. Emus eat a lot of grasshoppers, caterpillars, fruits, and grasses. Like all chicks in the rat-type family, emu chicks are precocial. Oh, I did spell it. See? There you go. I was close. I knew there were two C's in it. All right. So this down under bird is strictly male-only parenting. Males and females will mate with multiple partners, but only males will make nests and sit on eggs. So it's probably very similar to the rhea, in the ostrich, they just build a ground nest. The females lay the eggs, and then the emus collect all the eggs near their space, and those are theirs. The males don't care what female lays eggs in their nest. They don't even have to mate with that female. They're just counting on eggs. The male will incubate the eggs will not leave the nest until the eggs hatch. So if that's like 2 or 3 weeks and the male hasn't eaten, both the rhea and the emu are losing body weight. Oh, I just said that. Male will lose half his body weight during this time. Once the chicks hatch, they will stick with dad to learn what they need to know to survive. So it's similar to the others. They're very cute.
They lose their stripes, though.
Yes. I love the emu feathers, though, are really cool. I mean, the Phoenix Zoo has emus. And I just like to go and look at their feathers because it does look like hair. And I don't know what the advantage is to that, but there has to be an environmental advantage to their feathers being like that. Maybe it's because of the dryness of where they are in Australia, or maybe it has to do with ventilation, keeps them cool. I don't know. I couldn't find that answer, but I do still have that question. All right. So the cassowaries on New Guinea and Australia. I found a map for Australia to show you their range because they're a rainforest bird. I couldn't find a I couldn't find a readable range map for New Guinea. They are endangered. So this is their range map. And Australia is losing its rainforest, so it is, that's one of the reasons it is endangered. And so it's right there. All right, cassowary. He's the most colorful of the ratites. Solitary birds, very aggressive to others of their own kind until breeding season. So basically they hate each other until they can't hate each other anymore because otherwise they would die out as a species. All right. Females are larger than males and have daggers, and they have dagger sharp claws, run 50 miles an hour, leap 5 feet in the air, and are able to swim across rivers. I found that very interesting because they don't have any webbing, yet they can swim. And they don't look like a bird that could really propel themselves through water. So largest native, that's not invertebrate, it's the largest vertebrate in the Australian rainforests. I gotta stop doing this at night. Second heaviest bird in the world, third largest egg, it's a bright blue egg. And these birds are fruit eaters. There's a lot of fruit in the rainforest in Australia, and so that's what their diet is. All right. So the males construct a ground nest. The females lay the eggs. The male chases her away from the nest. Why? Not only does he want to be a single parent, but he doesn't like other birds. He doesn't. They don't like him. He's a cassowary. I'm done. So after that, the male incubates the eggs. It takes 50 days, and he will roll them 4 times a day to make sure they are evenly temperature controlled. So that means he can at least count till 4. Right? I know. I mean, just sit with some of this information. Birds are totally awesome. And like I was sharing with Kevin this morning, they're underrated. They get totally overlooked at how cool they really are. All right. So I said he will not leave the nest to eat or drink during that time. Dad and chicks stay together for 9 to 18 months while Dad teaches them what to eat. I don't know why it's 9 to 18 months. Maybe it's Dad. Maybe some dads are more patient than other dads. And he can only handle 9 months until he goes, oh, I need to be by myself, and he chases his youngsters away and hopes they've, done their job. That could be true. Yeah. That could be true too. And temperament, because they're temperamental. Dads will pick up a piece of fruit that is acceptable to eat, put it down in front of the chicks, and use his beak to touch it, and he will clack his beak to tell them this is okay to eat. And he will go through that, and he will show them every edible piece of fruit. He doesn't show them what not to eat. He shows them what they do eat, and they do exactly what Dad has told them to do. And they don't sway from that. Otherwise, they die. So I thought that was really cool. So there's communication going on there. The chicks will only learn to eat what Dad has told them is okay. And if Dad did not tell them to eat that piece of fruit, they won't eat it, ever. And so when he feels he has taught his chicks all they need to know, so it's about 9 months, and they're adults, everybody goes away. Because remember, they're cassowaries and they don't like each other. So they don't, so they will just disperse. it's
That's
they're
gonna be
scared.
the takeaway today of cassowaries.
Yes,
They don't like
they're a scary bird. They can kill humans. Yeah, they will. And they have warnings in the rainforest that when to hike in Australia in those areas. And it's not like be aware of everything in Australia, to me anyway, can kill you one way or the other. So, but the signs I was looking at the trail signs in the rainforest where the cassowaries are, and it's like don't be aware. They're not warning you about crocodiles or poisonous spiders or poisonous snakes or this mammal that can bite you or whatever. They're telling you about this bird that you may or may not see. And if you see it, you better get out of the way. Just be warned that this bird is here, this bird doesn't like you, and this bird will hurt you. And I'm like, why would you even hike there? So, yeah. Yeah, let's live on the edge and let's see if we can get, So imagine like going for a hike in a rainforest where there's velociraptors, because that's what I picture with the cassowary. All right? I mean, it can talk. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't able to turn a doorknob at one point. It is the closest, actually, bird in DNA-wise to the dinosaur, outside of the turkey. And the wild turkey's pretty smart, but come on, the cassowary's got one up on the turkey, right? All right. So now we're going to go to a place that's a little cooler where it doesn't rain. We're going to go to Antarctica. And we're going to talk about the emperor penguin. So all that yellow area is the range map of the emperor penguin. And the red dot is actually the South Pole. And those shaded areas are approximately where the known emperor colonies are to date. And you look at it, Antarctica sits right between South America and Australia. I learned a lot of cool things about emperor penguins. So, emperor penguins, they are 4 feet tall, 50 pounds to 88 pounds. That's a heavy bird. Claws on their feet, didn't know that. Thought they had like webbed feet because they spend all their time in the water, but they don't. They have clawed feet to grip ice to walk. Emperor penguins eat krill, squid, small fish. They can dive as deep as 1,850 feet. Layers of feathers help keep the emperor penguins warm and dry. Emperor penguins' bones are solid, not hollow. This helps them to be a heavier bird so that they can sink deeper into the water. Pretty cool, huh?
Does it keep them warmer too, you think? Be more solid?
They didn't say that. They didn't say that, but that's a possibility. I wouldn't think that wasn't a possibility. But they said that the scientists believe it so they can get down into the water, deeper.
If you have air in your bones, if you have a hollow bone, the compression of the water's going
Right.
to smash your bone too.
Yeah.
So you need to have a solid bone.
Yeah. So there's our emperor penguins, and these are babies. I don't know if these are males or females. I just thought the picture was cute. All right. So Antarctica is one of the coldest places to raise a chick. Emperor penguins spend most of their lives in the open water, and these birds pair up during breeding season. So once the female lays an egg, so once they've paired up and she lays the egg, a single egg, the male takes over the parental duties. Mom heads back out to sea to spend several weeks eating as much fish as she can to bring back to the chick, and dad is incubating the egg during the harshest weather. So it's the coldest, with temperatures reaching minus 40 degrees below zero. Yeah, yeah. Dad rests the egg on his feet and holds it there. He's the one who's got the brood patch, so he holds it up against the brood patch so it doesn't freeze. And these penguin dads often huddle together to keep from freezing themselves. And this is really cool. Is so they'll shuffle in, huddle together, and they take turns being on the outside. So they have to shuffle in without dropping the egg. And then shuffle out without dropping the egg. Because that's bad if they drop the egg.
For how long?
What did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Never mind.
yeah, does it say? Doesn't say how long.
Couple weeks. So Dad rests. How long is Mom gone?
She's gone a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so it's several weeks. It's at least 4 weeks. It's winter season, and the chick is going to hatch before Mom gets back. So the chick will hatch before Mom gets back, and so Dad is responsible for feeding the chick. So, okay, Dad has not what? Actually, it's probably more than 4 weeks. It's probably 2 months with the chick. He hasn't eaten.
Yeah.
And now he's got this chick he's got to feed. And he's using that crop milk. So he's taking what was in his stomach or whatever, he's regurgitating it, he's putting it into his crop, and it's becoming a milk for the baby. Highly rich milk, so it puts fat on the baby and they grow fast. One of the reasons doves do it is because doves produce a lot of birds in a year's time, and so they need their babies to grow up fast. Dad relies on his fat stores to feed the chicks until Mom shows up with fresh supplies. Parents switch off for 50 days. So I knew that, so that it takes 50 days to get the chick to a place where they don't need supervision. They will continue to feed the chick for 8 months. After 8 months, chicks are almost fully grown with adult feathers, and they will head out to sea on their own. So basically, they have to, they feed them until they've almost got all their adult feathers, and then they leave them. Why do you think they leave them? So the chicks are going to survive on their stored fats that the parents have fed them so well. They have to grow waterproof feathers so that they can swim. Because right now, as little babies, they have down. They don't have the feathers to protect them from the water. So they're using their fat stores to grow their feathers and keep them full. What motivates them to go to the sea is hunger. Parents use a tough love all the time in the bird world. So that motivates these chicks, because they're all standing here, there's like 100, 200 of us, and oh my God, we're so hungry, So they go as a group. And what's going to force them to jump into that choppy, cold, coastal Antarctica water with orcas and leopard seals? Breaks my heart. Hunger. So, but once those baby penguins, if they can get past the leopard seals and the orcas that are circling right there, once they get past that water, they're home free, really. So it's just that those obstacles, which are big obstacles actually, but I don't know if I'd want to be the first one to jump in. I just push them. All right. I thought they were cool. All right, so come on. Last bird. Where's my... Uh-oh. Where's my video?
Give it a second.
Oh, I should give it a second?
Yeah.
2, 3.
Maybe it's not there. Maybe a minute.
Well, it's in the slide. I don't know why it's not.
Push play in there.
Oh, man. it. I'm gonna cry. It's a really cool video. So if I can click, nothing. Could we pull it in again?
Where is it?
I don't know. I thought we did everything right.
Yeah, I thought so too. Probably needs a way to get there.
Yeah, see, my video is unless I have my hard drive, external hard drive attached to it. This is older.
Sorry. It worked at home.
Our TV's doing the same thing.
It's worth the wait if we can fix it.
Well, if not, we can just go to.
Can we get it up there another way?
Yeah.
Do you remember where you found it? Could you Google it and just play the video from YouTube or something
That-
on
that-
Google? Or?
Yeah, I know where to get it. That's what we're just talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Still not there.
I don't understand. You know what?
Is it gonna?
What if I use my flash drive?
Can try that.
Or can we download it again?
Maybe you need to plug your flash drive in for it to play.
It's a video on the. It's a URL, so it should pull it up
Yeah.
from.
Let's just go to Google then. 'Cause
From yeah, we've embedded videos before, but we haven't had this happen.
No, this is a new thing. Figures. Because after the video, then I'm done, except for my resources.
And oh, look, now it's available.
Will it play? Oh, that's weird. So how do you get it to play now?
Look at those feet.
F11 to do the slideshow. Show me the presenter. We clicked on.
That's what Carrie needs you to just see.
Still nothing up there though.
I see this one.
No, there's not a.
Oh, I know why.
Okay. Why?
It wasn't connected to the internet.
Now it'll play? All right.
Maybe?
Okay. We got it working? So now we're in Africa. And we're going to. The video is going to do all the talking for you.
Oh, as soon as I get it working again. Which one?
This is really cool. It's a cool video. Sorry. Here we go.
It's sound, but there's no video.
Oh,
Yeah.
so close.
It's on PBS then?
Yeah, PBS Nature.
Okay.
Dad saves his chicks from crocodile. That's all you have to Google.
I'll look it up.
We're gonna.
Just in case.
I have faith in Kevin.
I don't like doing things live though, because I'm not entirely familiar with PowerPoint. And this is
Why won't it do it?
there's two PowerPoints open. Which one is it? Oh, that's the slideshow right there.
Something's not. What if we just do YouTube and just play it for him? Can we get it up there?
Maybe. Let's see. Let me try closing this.
Go ahead and close that. No one cares about my resources anyway. That one. Ah, it's the TV.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so that's number 2.
What if we change it to what we run the Hawks on?
Got
Where am I? There we go.
All right.
They're not ideally adapted for running or flying, but getting around on floating lilies, that is their specialty. It helps that they weigh just a few ounces. The twins have no perception of the danger beneath the lilies.
I'm not gonna get scared.
Without a mother,
Dad saves them.
two tiny fluff balls with long toes wandering around on a thin platform of lilies won't last very long out here. But Jacana mothers always abandon their chicks as they hatch and leave them entirely in the care of the males. The father has his own flotation issues to deal with, but he keeps up with for anything suspicious in the water. And there it is. With a coded chirp, he calls his chicks to him. It's not just to hide them from the crocodile. He has to move them to safety. And the best way for him to do that is to tuck one under each wing and walk them out of danger. Keeping the kids quiet in a dark place is always a challenge. Those that survive here are the ones that are most aware of the sinister hiding in the beauty.
See, wasn't that worth the wait? Yes.
So cute. Thank you.
Okay, now I don't know how to make it go away. Okay, so it's really a misnomer. Mom doesn't really, she does abandon her chicks, technically, but she's a bigger bird and she is the one who protects the territories. And she is also the one who mates with more than one male.
Where's my mouse at? We're not watching whatever this is.
Yes. She lays the eggs on a lily pad, and the dad, up to 4 eggs. And the dads come in and they rest the eggs on their feet because they have to keep them dry. Because eggs are permeable, they can't get wet. And he sits there and he doesn't leave that lily pad until they hatch. So technically she's playing the male role, if you think about it. So
See,
it's
now it works.
it's
Now we're.
That's because we have to do that now.
so thank you, Kevin. So it's just role reversal. So it works for them. So anyway, I thought that was really cool. And it's I'm trying to find nature videos that don't have commercials, so I don't have to do that to you guys. Actually, that's the end. I appreciate your patience. These are my resources, but I can take questions. Not sure if I have an answer, but I'll give it a try. And everyone, I have gifts, little gift bags. So we have a new seed blend out. It's called Feather Pro. We have it in a cylinder as well as in bags. And it's to help with molting and babies getting their adult feathers.
Oh, good.
So,
Is it any time of year particular that that particular seed should be given?
you know, we're putting it out, we're promoting it now, but birds can't read.
Yeah.
So my birds are eating the winter blend.
Oh,
I just don't tell them how it's labeled.
okay.
So,
Well, they'll
It's the
like
summer
this.
blend.
yes, yes. So any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Here.
Good job.
And we have, that's okay. I got extra. And we have a new card. I want to tell you, remember it last time? Where's the card? We're starting a trading card. And so last time we gave you the Oriole. So this month it's the Gila Woodpecker. So we just think it's a cool way